Okay, so this is going to be a first video on a set of videos on vectors, and this is going to be understanding kind of what we mean by a vector, what we mean by this column notation we've got here, and some questions we could be asked, like how to translate by a vector. So you'll have heard of translation before. We'll see how it's kind of slightly changed to be translated by a vector. So what we mean by a vector is just a movement, and it tells us if we go left, right and up and down. And this key up here, this is really important to remember. The number on the top is going to tell us whether we go right or left, so it's a little bit like our x coordinate, and the number on the bottom is like our y coordinate. It tells us whether to go up or down. And if it's positive, so we'll go through these 4 examples. These are 4 different vectors, very similar by looking at them, but you can see there's a range of negatives in there. So this one is going to tell us to go 3 right, and I'm not meant to say that. Get my eraser. And 4 up. So if I was to draw this, a vector, it doesn't actually matter where it is on our grid. It's just a movement. It could be anywhere. So I'm just going to start it here. So if I was to draw this vector, it's going to be 3 right, 1, 2, 3, and 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the vector is this movement here. And you always want to put an arrow on your vector to show that we've started at this point and ended in the top right. If you don't put an arrow, people might think we're going downwards, and that would be a different vector. That would be -3, -4. So I'm going to try and change colour for each one of these, just so it's a bit more obvious which is which. So this is going to be blue. So this one here is going to be 3 to the right because it's +3, but this time it would be 4 down because we got a negative number here. So I'm going to just start this one here because I know it'll fit on my grid. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to end here, so just get a straight line between these. So you'd probably use a, oh my gosh, you'd use a ruler if you were doing this. And stick an arrow which direction you go in. I'm going to try and get a better line than that. Oh, I've done it even worse. You get where I'm coming from, straight line. And an arrow showing which direction you've moved. Let's go for purple. So this one is going to be 3 left and 4 up. Left because of this negative sign here. So I'm going to start here. So 3 left, 1, 2, 3, and 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to end there. So let's get our line between these two and draw an arrow between them, which way we've gone. So we've gone that way, haven't we? And then final one, we'll do this in a green. This is going to be 3 left and 4 down. So I'll start this one here. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 down. We're going to end there. And an arrow going which way. You can probably see that this one up here and this one down here, if we didn't have the arrows on, would look exactly the same. So, and you can see how different they are. We've got 2 negative signs here and no negative signs there. So it is really important we have the arrow for which way we are moving. So we could be asked to do some stuff like this, so writing these as a column vector. Well, we're going this way to the right, so we're going to start here and we're going to end there. So how many across to the right are we going? 1, 2, 3, and then 1 up. So that would be 3 right and 1 up. So we want a positive 3 on the top and a positive 1 on the bottom. Because remember, this is our kind of key to remember. So on to B. We're going to start here, so we go in 1 to the right and 2 down. So 1 to the right is like this, and 2 down is a negative 2. So if we look there. C, we're starting in this corner because of the arrow here. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, so that's going to be minus 4, and then 2 up, so that's a positive 2. And then this D here. So we haven't gone any left or right, we're just going straight up, so that would be a 0 on the top for our left and rights. And we're just going 1 down, so that is going to be a minus 1 there. And then we could be asked to draw some of these, so I'm just going to copy this grid over. And we're going to draw a couple of these, not all of these, just because I'd be here for ages if we did. So let's draw A in red. So I'm going to draw A, I'm going to start down here. It doesn't matter where you put it on the grid. There's nothing about a vector that it has to be in a specific point. It's not a coordinate, it's not like it has to be 5, 2 on the grid. You've just got to go 5 to the right and 2 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2 up. And your arrow. Always remember the arrow. I'll just do 2 more. Not in a particular order, I'm going to pick out ones that I don't think we've covered yet. So I'm going to do F. And I'm going to start here. So that is just telling me we want to go 4 left and 0 up, or 0 down. Both the same thing, isn't it? So just 1, 2, 3, 4, and an arrow. And to be really clear, you might want to draw an F, and with a vector we underline it. You can see these are in bold, so we either write in bold, but in your handwriting it's too hard to write in bold and make that obvious. So you underline the letter, because we could have an A in algebra, couldn't we? So that is how we show it's a vector. And that's just an algebraic term. So you just underline it, and that shows it's a vector, so people know what you're on about. And then I'll pick out one more in orange. I will do C. So I'm going to start here. So I'm going to go 3 left and then 7 down. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay. I'll start up here. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And line between them with a ruler and an arrow showing which direction you've moved. And then you can write C next to it with an underline to show that is C. And I'll put A to show that I've done that. And then our final slide, so just translating some shapes. So you'll have done translations before, maybe not by vectors. So if we want to translate this by 3, 1, well that means we want to go 3 to the right and 1 up. So pick any side. I'm going to pick this one here. Always draw a mark on it, just to show that, just to make sure you don't lose it. Then go 1, 2, 3, and then 1 up. Draw another dot. Pick another side. 1, 2, 3, 1 up. Pick the third side. 1, 2, 3, 1 up. And pick the last side. 1, 2, 3, and 1 up. And then draw out your shape. You might be asked to call it a new letter, like B. Translate this by 2 minus 2, so that is 2 right and 2 down. So pick a side. 1, 2, 1, 2. So new point there. Pick this right side. 2 to the right, 1, 2, 2 down, 1, 2, here it is, and then this final one, so 1, 2 to the right, and 2 down. And then connect it up, and you'll be told what letter to call it if you need to call it a letter. And then this one, so we need to go 0 right or left, 0 doesn't matter which way, and then we need to go 5 down. So I'm just going to pick this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't want to do every time, you can think, well, from this side it would be 1, 2, 3, a length of 3, so I'm going to make it a length of 3, that's that side. It's a length of 3 on the bottom. It's a length of 2 going up here. It's a length of 1. It's a length of 1. And it's a length of 1. So you can just do one corner, but it's always good to do a couple, because if you make a mistake on that corner, you wouldn't realise it, but if I did a mistake on that corner, then these didn't seem to create the same shape. When I joined up all the dots, I'd have known I'd have made a mistake if I translated every single side. And then if we could be asked, like, how do we get from A to B? So I'm going to pick one point and I'm going to see how I get to the corresponding point there. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left, and 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So the vector for this would be -6, 4. And you can get some wording, so they could say B from A. That is the same as them saying A to B. If you think about, you're travelling from A, so you've started at A. So again, pick some corresponding sides. We've gone 0 to the right, and we've gone 2 down. So 0 right and 2 down. As a vector, that would be 0 minus 2. So we've translated our shapes by that. You can always just I'd always double check more than one side, to be honest. I'd always check that that is the same, just in case I've made a mistake. But that's all we need to go through for our introduction to vectors.